we've not only made $1 million on a deal, we've made multiple millions of dollars on multiple deals.
What is up? My name is Braden with the Criterion Fund, and this is How to Invest in Commercial Real Estate. Today's topic is just on how to think bigger, how to ask bigger questions. I'm joined by Brian, my partner in the Criterion Fund, and Joel Thompson, co-founder of Precision Equity. What's up, guys?
What is up?
Hey.
So think bigger, ask bigger questions. You know, just most, I don't know who said the quote, but most people underestimate what they can do in 10 years and overestimate what they can do in a year. I think that may be Buffett.
Yeah, maybe Buffett.
But the biggest thing, right, is ask bigger questions, set bigger goals, like set something that you can look down and just work at every day. And then at the end of a few years, you look up and there's something fantastic there. Because I think that's the secret, in my personal opinion, is just putting your blinders on like a racehorse. This is what I think of in my head. I'm a racehorse with blinders on, and I just have this one task to run as fast as I freaking can around this track, and I can't think about anything else. I set that goal in my mind, and I just look down, and I do those tiny menial tasks every day, and then at the end of a period of time, my dedication has always paid off.
Yeah, so this episode very well could change some people's lives. I'm gonna say this statement that I heard from one of my mentors that absolutely changed the entire direction of my life. And it's the size of the question determines the size of the answer. So those listening, what questions have you been asking yourself? And I bet you I know a couple of them, you know, like, how do I retire at 65? How much money do I want to make, or how much money do I want to make next year? How much do I need to retire? I want to take one big family vacation a year. Those are questions I bet a bunch of you have asked. Well, I'll tell you, the beginning of my real estate career, I wasn't thinking big. I definitely had found real estate through some mentors, but man, I was trying to make $200 on a rental house or $5,000 on a house flip. And another mentor, Robert Allen, I came across this, and he said that with passion. He said, the size of the question determines the size of the answer. And I decided that day that I was going to get out a piece of paper and I was going to write better questions. And, you know, there were some guys that were investing with me at the time, and they were asking really small questions, and I'm sure that they achieved those. But what I want to encourage you guys today is I wrote down that day that I wanted to retire at 35. And I wrote that question when I was 20, 24 or 25.
So about 10 years.
About 10 years. I also asked the question, I don't want to make $200 a month. How do I make $1 million on one real estate deal?
I bet that sounded insane when
It
you
was
just said that.
Ridiculous, insane. But once again, it was a mentor challenging me to change my life by asking better questions. Now, I didn't retire at 35. I did retire from that day job at 36 or 37. But man, if I had never asked myself that question, I'd still be working there today. And making $1 million on one deal. Why do you ask yourself that question? Do you guys have an idea of why you want to ask yourself that question?
I mean, just to strive for it. I mean, to be thinking about it constantly.
Well, that's true, but it helped me to know what to spend my time on. Do I need to buy a $50,000 rental house? Is that gonna accomplish is that gonna take me where I want to go when I want to get there? Okay, so if I just started buying rental houses, I'm not going to retire at 35 because I wanted to retire with a bunch of money.
Yeah, and there's not a rental house that you can buy and make $1 million deals or
$1 million on it. So then it starts to give you direction because now you know where you're going.
And you know where not to go, right?
That's right. And so, Victor Whitmore, my business partner, and I with Precision Equity, we've not only made $1 million on a deal, we've made multiple millions of dollars on multiple deals. But it all had to start with asking that first question. I never would have attempted to buy some of the deals that I bought if I hadn't first decided that I wanted to make a bunch of money on a big deal.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think it's really important. I hope that everybody listening really lets that sink in, and they go home tonight and they start asking themselves, what do I want out of this life? And how do I get there? Because most people, they don't even ever ask themselves when they want to retire or how much money they want. How do I travel the world at 28 or whatever that question is? So start thinking and brainstorming. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, I wish someone would have told me those same things when I was younger, because I, as a lot of people, I had an 8 to 5 job and I worked at it for a long time. I was just like you're saying. I was thinking, okay, well, I guess I'm going to retire at 65. I wonder how much money I need. Who knows how much money I need at that point? And I thought, well, maybe I could retire at 60, but I didn't know how to get there. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to contribute to my 401k. And so my answer was, like a lot of people, I thought, okay, well, everybody retires with 401k. So I started working as an engineer. So I had a good job. And since the day I was 21, started that job until just recently, until Braden and I co-founded Criterion, I maxed out my 401k every year. For 40 years, I've put the maximum amount the government would let you put in.
Which is hard to do in and of itself.
Yeah.
Like that's dedication.
That's still an accomplishment.
A lot of people don't do that, right? But I did it, and now at 60, I don't have enough to retire. And
you don't in that account.
Well, not in that account. I do in my real estate account, but in that account, I wouldn't have. And not only did I invest the maximum amount, I aggressively invested in mostly the stock market, and I had really good returns. I had as good as returns in the stock market as you could probably have over the last 40 years. And in that account, I don't have enough to retire. So, but let's go back 10 years when my friend Joel introduced me to commercial real estate and said, hey, I've got a deal I want you to invest in. And I invested a few $100,000. And on that one deal, I made as much money on that deal when we sold it 2 years later as I had in my 401k account at that time. So I'd been investing in the 401k.
Boom.
That's
401k, 30 years, maximum amount, invested, compounding, and I made as much as in one deal.
2 years, as more than 30 years of maxing 401k.
And you made Joel do all the work. That's the best part.
He didn't even do anything.
Yeah.
That's so good.
No, that's the power of thinking big. And it doesn't have to be from starting your own real estate company like I did. It could be from being an investor in commercial real estate like Brian.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I mean, I think each different real estate deals is I think of each real estate deal as a different business, right? So like most people start a business and grow it. You know, maybe it's a massive business at the end of the day, but we're going out and buying multi-million-dollar businesses with each property, and you may buy, several of those a year that are multi-million-dollar and revenue producing businesses. These real estate deals, and guys out there will just go buy a dozen a year and just let somebody else run them, hire a management company. I mean, just these massive freaking goals. It's huge.
Yeah.
No, it's how do you make all the money you want to make without working? Right? How do you do that? And that's that for me, commercial real estate solved that equation. Right? I make all the money I want to make, and it doesn't matter if I show up, if I am traveling out of the country, the money just comes in. I don't have to do anything for it. There's not a lot of systems that can produce that kind of result. So,
yeah.
Well, you can't do that with an 8 to 5 job, certainly.
No way.
I've really enjoyed the freedom once I quit my 8 to 5 job and started doing commercial real estate.
Yeah, an 8 to 5 job, you can't just change somebody else's company either. It's not like you can make some massive dream about their company and execute it. It's typically your own stuff, and it's just this massive goal. I mean, how many people actually set a quantifiably measurable goal, right, that you can track with data that lasts longer than 12 months? How many people are actually doing that? Yeah. But like Joel was saying earlier, we have a tendency to always be right. We make ourselves right. And what you are focusing on constantly, if you wake up and all you can think about is that stupid goal that you told yourself 10 years ago, I mean, you're going to do it. You have to. That's all you're thinking about. All of your mental energy is dedicated to achieving that one goal. So if it's how to take you and your kids and your grandkids and maybe, everyone in your extended family to Disney World. I knew somebody with that goal. So my grandparents had a goal to take the entire family to Disney World. Just like you were saying, they're right. You know, they were a little older. I think they were in their 50s, and you know, they probably worked so hard for that, and the joy it probably gave them. You know, working for a goal for 20 years, delayed gratification, it's the best kind. But it's Disney World. I mean, people practically live at Disney World. There's nothing. I mean, Disney World is awesome. Taking your family to Disney World is awesome. I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna set a goal and work at it for a dozen years, let's just pick something crazy, man.
Yeah, bigger.
Bigger, way bigger.
Yeah, think big, guys.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time.
Yep.